Welcome to Rampage. Welcome to Rampage. Boys and girls, strap yourself in because this is about to get very interesting. I am going through everything else first, and the ending, you know what it's going to be. Now, we got Private Party versus Jurassic Express. Now, I did like when you looked at how Christian Cage made sure he put over Jurassic Express, making it very clear you're going to go in that tournament. You're going to win the Eliminator. It's an Eliminator that's going to be set up for All Out. No problem. And you got the little bit of Hardy brand. I'm not using the Hardy family business. I despise that name. I don't like it. I hate it. I'd rather hear the Hardy brand than the Hardy family business. I believe that's what it's called, and I hate it. But anyway, was it a good match? Yes, it was. And it followed what was going to be at the end of this review. So you know they had to put on a good show, and it was a good show. I mean, Quinn and Cassie are very good wrestlers. You know how it is when it comes to Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus is money. Now, Jungle Boy. Do I hate Jungle Boy? No. And the only reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people are behind him. Jack Perry, they're going crazy over Jack Perry. But here's the thing for me personally. I don't hate Jungle Boy. I like him. I actually do. He's very talented in the ring. But, there's a but that needs to be addressed eventually. He's got to be on his own. And definitely, he needs work with his mic skills. He's very soft-spoken or don't talk much at all. And if he's going to be the TNT champion eventually, he needs to talk. So I think sooner or later, he needs to talk and start working on those mic skills. That's just me. And I wasn't surprised Jurassic Express won. There's no way right now that Private Party is going to be it. And I'm sorry for the noise, guys. There's a lot of drag racing in my area. Yes, in my area, they drag race. They do big muscle cars. They like to drag race at this time. But this is not Private Party's time. But I will say, in the last year and a half, they have morphed into something much better. Their clothes look better. Working with Matt Hardy has helped them a lot. And I feel like that's good. Now, we got Jade Cargill versus Akira Hogan. What do you think was going to happen? What do you think was going to happen with the girl on fire compared to that bitch? There was no way she was going to survive it. I thought it would be at least a little bit of Kira leading the match. But that didn't happen. Kira Hogan with her thick black butt met another woman bigger than her that had just as big as a black butt as her, and she didn't really sell that much. She destroyed Kira. I didn't expect the match to be that short, but because of what happened at the beginning of the show, let's be honest, they had to make it short. I think if it hadn't gone that long, it would have been a longer match, and you would have been able to see a little bit more Kira. Or Kiera. I like calling it Kira. Let's be honest. What does this mean for her? Jobber at first. Unless they're going to let her do something substantial, she just got annihilated by Jade Cargill. Looked like her mama. You got her here. I think I got a shot of it. You got her here, and you got her here. She looked like her 5-year-old kid, how small she was compared to her, because Kira is only 5 foot tall. And I believe that Jade Cargill is near 6 foot, like I think 5'10", 5'11". I'm not sure. She is not 5'8". That woman is much bigger than that. So that was it. End. We got Garcia versus Moxley. Moxley was pissed. I did like, and this is something I didn't say on the first episode of Rampage. I really do like a Mark Henry as not just commentator, but interviewer and correspondent. He's really good at it. I like him in that role. He's very good in what he's doing. He has that type of attitude that you want to see him smile, and you want to see him really give the questions. He has that, and I like it. Now, mind you, I'm not saying he's ever going to get back in the ring again, but he does still have that look when you want to piss him off. He'll give you the Hall of Pain, baby. But Moxley made it very clear that Garcia pissed his ass off and he was going to wring his little neck and commit a crime in the damn ring. And for the most part, this was the most competitive match I have seen on Dynamite or honestly, on the second episode of Rampage. We got more coming to Rampage, but this was a very competitive match in the sense that we got pure mat-based wrestling from Garcia. Now, I'm not saying Garcia is the best mat-based wrestler I've seen. He's not. I think Josh Alexander is a bit better, but he is a bigger guy. But seeing Garcia, knowing full well he broke both his legs in the beginning of the pandemic, around the time the pandemic was about to happen, I think 2019, just going into 20, he broke his legs. I'm sure not only was he stuck at home, he had to be careful not to get sick on top of it. So when it comes down to it, he is a good mat-based wrestler. But it didn't make a difference because I didn't expect him to win. He got annihilated with a bulldog choke, and I believe I got in my face. And then you got 2.0 and him beating down not only Moxley but Kingston. You got Sting coming out, you got Allen coming out, and they destroyed everything, and it sets up for what's going on for the next Dynamite and All Out September 5th. Done! Under 7 minutes, we are done, and now there will be no images other than one that will probably be all the way to the end of this video. Now, I gotta say this. When Dynamite first started, I could not get a stream. Couldn't get one at first. It took me 2 to 3 minutes. And I believe I know the reason why. It wasn't that people were being found or anything. It was because the streams were crashing. Guys, the streams, I believe, were crashing because everyone, their mother, their father, their dogs, their cats, and pretty much any type of little weirdness under their couches were all watching to see if CM Punk was going to show up on Dynamite. Now, by the time I saw it, I did manage to see him come out. I didn't hear whatever the commentators were saying or anything that was said or anyone had came out, so I don't know. After this, I'm actually going to see if I can get a replay of it, and I want to see the beginning. But when he came out, it was deafening. Guys, whether you like CM Punk or not, you think he's overrated or underrated, whether you think he's a bitch, an asshole, because of what happened in UFC, I saw, because of what was going on with CM Punk, I went and saw one of his older matches when he was in the UFC, the second match he had, and Joe Rogan chewed his ass out saying, why the fuck was this guy even in wrestling? I mean, not wrestling, but in MMA. What is the point? He is not talented in MMA. He is stupid for doing it. He is dumb for even doing it. He was a waste of time. And the guy that he went up against who insulted him has now been removed because of Dana White. So what was the damn point? He got rid of a guy that didn't deserve it. That is what Joe Rogan said. And I can tell you this. And I say this to Joe Rogan. Dude, being talented in that ring is not an easy thing. But this guy, whether you think he's a dick, an asshole, or a bitch, earned his right to go into that ring and give it a shot. Not because he's rich, not because he's just famous, but because he has influenced millions of people to want to do something not many people consider popular anymore. Pro wrestling. Many people believe pro wrestling is nothing but a fad again. Many people believe pro wrestling is just stupid. I believe Joe Rogan would think that pro wrestling should just disappear forever. But because of CM Punk and many others like him, you got millions of people influenced to want to be a pro wrestler. So, well, Mr. Joe Rogan, you think he's not talented in the MMA and the Octagon. I understand that. But he has no talent. Bullshit. He has enough talent to talk people into going to see hundreds of, well, calm down. He's talented enough in talking to bring in millions of dollars for a company. He's talented enough not to kill himself. And you, Mr. Rogan, who is an Octagon former MMA fighter yourself, how long do you actually think you would stand in a WWE or pro wrestling ring before you hurt your damn self because you have no idea how to take a bump? I'm just saying, guys. I'm not saying Joe Rogan would look at this and say, who the fuck do you think you are? Or maybe he's got an idea. I'm not taking anything away from Joe Rogan, particularly he did Fear Factor. I respect him. I respect him going into the ring just like a CM Punk. That is not a safe thing to do. You can still hurt yourself and become paralyzed. But he needed to be told. Now, as I said earlier, it was deafening. At one point, there was a guy crying. I didn't catch that shot. But a guy was literally crying with his phone in his hand. Now, many people would say, oh, look at that bitch. He's crying like a little sap. Like a little Mark. But it's a guy who's emotional. People, like, who wouldn't cry if they saw Michael Jordan go back into the ring, not ring, but go back into basketball one more time? People, when he retired for a while, played basketball, didn't play basketball, played baseball, then went back to basketball again. You can't tell me people didn't cry and so happy to see him back into basketball again. It's what we love. And that guy showed his feelings. Now, there's going to be some people that say, oh, please, CM Punk is overrated, another WWE guy. And if it's any of my subscribers, guess what, guys? Yours thought, with no disrespect. And this is not a disrespect to you. This is not me disrespecting you. This is what the general consensus is. Your thought of thinking CM Punk is why are they even bringing back this old WWE guy? Guess what? This old WWE guy literally had just deafened 15,000 people. He made them go nuts. And he's going to do that for a while. I'm not saying he's the greatest wrestler that ever existed. But he is enough. That will be something that people are going to care about. So your thoughts thinking that he's another WWE guy, sorry, doesn't work. He was more important outside of WWE before he went in. And what he said during his time in the AEW ring, I'm not going to repeat it because one, I didn't write it down, and two, I don't remember all of it. But I got to say this. He made sure people understood when he was in ROH, that's what he started with, that at 2005, he had to leave a place that he loved because he left ROH and made it clearly understood that he left a place that was functional and could make money for the people there, and people who love pro wrestling have a place to go. But he also made it very clear, after that, he knew he had to go somewhere, and he did. And he said from, September 2005, or August or September, I can't remember, of 2005, he wasn't wrestling anymore. But now, in August, he is. He's now wrestling again. He made it clear that at the time he went to the WWE until he left, he wasn't doing pro wrestling. And that was something that was very profound. Now, mind you, not saying that Vince, he didn't mention Vince's name at all. Not saying anything about Vince was probably understandable because he didn't want to have any type of friction between the brass at WWE and Tony Khan, because let's be honest here. This is what's honest. Truly honest. Tony Khan has had some dealings with WWE. There's no doubts about it. He's spoken to Vince in some form of capacity because think about what happened with Chris Jericho going on the Broken Skull podcast. There had to be something worked out between them so there wouldn't be any type of problem. Not just because of Stone Cold Steve Austin. They had to do something with it. Particularly what happened also with Brody Lee passing away. Vince had to be talked to by Tony so they can do some type of work so there wouldn't be any type of problem. That had to also happen. So him doing that made sense. But he made it very clear. He made it clear to anyone who was upset that he wasn't there for 7 years, he made it clear I couldn't work. I had to go away to get my body right, to get my mind right, to get my soul right. I had to be right. And if you guys are angry, I can't do anything about that because I couldn't stay in a place that was making me like that. He made it clear. And that's understandable. It had to be that way. The thing that got me was not about Darby Allin. I'll get that in a moment. Was that he said after it was all done, he said, you know what? When he was finished and he was talking about Darby Allin, he made it clear, you know what, guys? For those who are here and those at home, I want you to know I thank you. And for the people in the arena, when it's time to leave and you're ready to go, have an ice cream outside the venue. Get a free ice cream on me. And if you don't know what that is, the pipe bomb promo that he did in WWE where he got angry that, hey, everyone's getting everything else. How come I'm not getting anything? Particularly, why am I not an ice cream? Why don't I have an ice cream with my name on it, or my face, or my this? How come I don't have an ice cream? And he just did a nasty rib at WWE saying, you know what? Because you wouldn't give me no ice cream, like a product of my own, I'm going to have a product made in Chicago, and I'm going to give it for free to everyone in the damn venue to make sure that people know that I am the best in the world. That was what he was doing. And finally, when he talked about Darby Allin, that he said, I came back for those guys in the back. And he didn't make it a lie. He said, look, I came back for those guys in the back. I wanted them to see that they can be the best. And I'm not going to lie, I came back for myself as well. But I want people to know that I help motivate some of these people. And I want to give. So hopefully, he will not end up like most guys, trying to put himself over more than trying to put over the ones that are with him. I think at this point in his life, he probably will be like a John Cena, where he will make sure that he puts over others as much as he puts himself over. That is what he loves. He still loves wrestling. He's now back, and now people are going to go crazy. Now, was this a good Rampage? It had to be damn good, because if CM Punk didn't show up, they would have rioted. Like I said to some of my subscribers, I said, don't worry, he's going to be there. It's not about me, guys. I wasn't afraid that he wasn't going to be there. If he had not been there, I wouldn't have been mad. I would have been, well, they did all this hype. It's disappointing. For me, I wouldn't have been mad. But the people at the venue and many people who are reviewers, as well as people at home, would have rioted on social media or go on YouTube and rioted there, because Tony Khan made it clear that he's going to be showing up. He had to show up. So this is my review of Rampage. I hope you enjoy it. And I will see if I can get Emergence done tomorrow. I won't lie. There's some stuff I got to do tomorrow. And hopefully I will be able to watch Emergence, and I will be able to do a review. I probably won't do any any images or anything of it. So I hope you don't mind. There won't be no images. I'll probably just do a straight review, no images, and just tell you how I felt about all the matches. But it's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.